Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. And welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all. Good to be back on a Spirituality Thursday. We're going to be diving back into Chants of Sennaar. I was thinking, different ways to continue to grow the audience and the community around here. What could I do? What could I do? And I realized I'm missing out on gratuitous amounts of air horns. That's the thing that I've been missing. I have fun with this stream deck. It's just fun to have little sound effects. But I'm gonna be doing a little more chill with Chants of Sennaar. So last time we made it to the factory, land of scientists, and circular speech. And that was the start of his fall into being a shock jock radio AM radio DJ. Hey, what you doing? It's Father Evan in the morning coming at ya. What's our... Okay, we have numbers. We have numbers figured out. And not a whole lot else. We have spooky, we have monster. Science. Death, go, stop. Okay, this is... I believe it's spelled spoopy. Fair dinkum. Okay, so we're here on the entrance in the first floor. Or no, we're up here. We're up here on the second floor. So to the left, there's. Let's go to the left then. He says as he prepares to head upstairs. This writing system looks occult cuneiform. I have not seen that form of cuneiform, so I'm going to take your word for it. Now that leads to the library. I'm so confused. I thought I was here. Oh, right, one of these. You know, it's hard trying to remember a language I haven't looked at for 2 weeks. Okay, so that needs a key of some sort. Now remember there's the, like, stamping place. Yeah, this place. Radiographically occult medial cuneiform impaction fracture. Yeah, it sounds about right. Okay, so this says silver. Oh, I need to smelt it first. Well, cuneiform is the writing of the Okay, so we need to make silver. But I need to insert... Can I not insert? Like, that's the ingots. I know we melted some gold into an ingot. Let's just put everything on here and see what happens. Not a lot. Oh, whoops. Apparently some of the small bones of the foot are known as cuneiform bones on account of being wedge-shaped. Well, that makes sense. Man, it is wild. Like, I've never studied cuneiform, but I've lived with guys who have. And the thing is, you can't just do it on paper. Like, by its very nature, cuneiform needs to be done in clay so it gets that... its very shape. Hello. Yes, something 7, something 9. Is this I count and I need? Cuneiform should make a comeback. 3D printed documents for people. You know. No. No, I'm good. We are far from a food time. So I'm looking at these two verbs here. Perhaps they are a Star Trek fan and they are discussing their favorite characters 7 and 9. Fair enough. Anyway, I'm looking at these characters. And this downward... And there's a similarity, like the same circle and the presence of a triangle. And knowing that food appears at 8, as apparent on the clock, that leads me to believe this means open and closed. Don't we have... Okay, we do have something similar. So we're going to name this close. We're going to name this one open. So open, close. I need the symbol for dead. You know, all these languages are still pictogrammic. Like, even this one being more complicated in its physical design, it still boils down to the same basic idea. Yes, a ruler. We know how counting works. We figured that out. So, based on context clues, which are a great thing, I'm going to say this is monster. This other one is hate, fear, etc. And then fire, which we have placed somewhere else, apparently. Yeah, and that would make sense that we placed it over there. I feel good about help and fire, but I'm not sure about the last portion. I wasn't sure if that was right, but I was just looking at the symbol and going, that looks like a head and two hands over a stick. But verbs seem to have more of a circular style. Okay, we don't have a code. Also, I just realized our character has the amazing ability to hear symbols. Like, when you think about it, they're hearing the physical symbol that the people are saying and are able to deduce that. See, I don't think that's make. Because that wouldn't make sense in that context. We... I wonder if this symbol is study. Because then that would make we study whatever that is, we study whatever that is. Something... Right, before lab work or delivery gets me distracted again. Man, I really don't like the crowd in today's gospel. They're total butts. Because, you know, here's this guy being like, you know, Jesus, heal me, help me. And they're like, shut up, shut up. And then when Jesus is like, hey, get that guy to come over this way, they're like, Jesus has called you. Aren't you lucky? And it's like, he was crying out first. Like, they don't even apologize. But, you know, it's a reminder of us to be both like Bartimaeus, the blind man, and like Christ, both that sense of, to be like Bartimaeus, to trust and to know the way Christ has healed us, and in response follow him, as Bartimaeus does. but to be like Christ, to be able to speak over when others are trying to keep others away and from a life of faith. But when does anyone in the Bible apologize? You know, it happens. This Jesus guy seems like a big deal. Yeah, Brayherd. I'm a fan. Jesus is a pretty cool dude. I think you should check him out sometime. So I think that this triangle, it's not so much make as it is like smelt, I think. Is he on Bandcamp? Good to see you, Bad Roxy. How you doing? Favorite artistic depiction of Christ? That's a tough one. Hey, Gail, thank you for the 18-month resub. My goodness. This is quite the... It's hard to believe. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I got you, me, help. No, it is not Angry Buff Jesus in the DC Basilica. That's a tough one. Let's go to the gold mine first. Yeah, I feel like I'm missing just one more piece of information. Hey, Mars. Good to see ya. So much gold in one place. This economy is ruined. Hey, look, it's the smelting machine. This is what I've been looking for. Silver ingot. Nope, not going through the rock crusher. That's incredibly efficient cooling. Yeah? Well, that's why they have all these giant fans. There's a liquid cooling line on the inside. Yeah, I do think your landlord would probably object. So, you know. It's a wise idea to not do the thing. What if that was make? Hey, let's go. We figured it out. I'm a genius. If you're not negatively impacting the unit, why should your landlord care? I think the fellow tenants might care. Plus fire hazard, safety, etc. Silver, gold. I'm gonna call this third symbol stuff. Just be safe and there will be no fire, Fivehead. It appears that verbs are noted with the circle. Yeah, but not entirely. It's kind of weird because, like, scientist, it has the same basic line structure as me, but also a similar circular construction to open. Let's put monster there. I need the symbol for life. Because I have the symbol for... I theoretically have the symbol for life and death. I just don't know what they are. Science, and that's a number. Okay, I think this is what we're going to do. Is one, we're going to turn this nugget in. Oh, wait, I actually wanted to finish reading that. 2. Okay, that's the instructions on the machine. We've already done that. Let's go turn in the ingot in that one machine. Oh, hi Meep. You hanging out there in the library there? Still no thoughts behind your eyes. Yeah, Meep's generally unbothered by everything. It's actually generally the direction I want to head, but I want to see... 4. Rock is 4. Oh, apparently that's a thing. That's silver. Maybe stuff is like rock. Gold. Unless, what if that's gold? That's plural? Nope. Because gold coins, silver potware. I don't feel like I've come across a word for gem. Maybe stuff is like rock, noted theologian priest. I don't know if I'm noted. Like, what if this is gold, like a gold ring, and that one's coins, but we haven't come across coins or money as a concept? Hmm. Oh, that's a lot of formulas. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm going to have to study these formulas. I don't even know what I'm supposed to study them for. The law of alchemy is that there's an equivalent exchange. 4 parts sulfur, 1 part lime. I don't know. I forget the rest of the formula for human being from Full Metal Alchemist. I just remember lime being a part of it and being confused for a long time until I realized, oh, they mean limestone. Yeah, okay, no, I'm still confused. Okay. Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what? What? I thought that was going to be the 4th symbol for sure, because it's here in the 4 of them. Sounds like a job for Control-Shift-S. Yeah. Okay. Is dog part of the formula? Oh, no! Ah! No! Oh. It's terrible. Alchemy. Yeah, I wish I knew what this 4th... Because, like, it's silver, gold, rock, and... pyramid. And this is going to need the key. But what formula of the key do I need? That's probably the thing on the... on the door down here. Or on the table. Y'all are still worried about food. Wait, what if rock was that 4th and it... Well, we know gold, silver. Coal is a rock. Coal is a rock that burns. Yeah, so it's these 4 symbols. That are denoting different materials. You know, what if that symbol there is key? Because these are all formulaic amounts of these 4 elements needed to make keys, and none of them are right. That's the ruler. I need to find my way back into that back door in the library. Because that's going to have the formula. Since we're here, I'm going to take the advantage to see if there's anything in the food hall. Food open. Not only is coal rock, but I know of Catholic parish with a coal as a locally sourced stone that they made into the altar. Huh. I've never heard of a coal altar. That's kind of cool. Just don't make an asbestos altar. That sounds like a bad idea. I do like, though, how it's just like looking at this was like the clue we needed, apparently. Okay, let's take a look at this piece of paper. The church tends to have rules for lots of things. What are the rules in altar construction? Oh boy, altar construction rules. Altars should be made if they are immovable, i.e. they will not ever be removed from where they physically are. They should be made of primarily stone, though wood is also allowed. Of an appropriately noble substance that can vary region to region. So coal, in the case of the parish Brayherd was talking about, is meaningful. If I were to just plop that in the middle of New York, they'd be like, what is this? If an altar is immovable, it will have what's known as an altar stone, which is a special stone which has a relic of a martyr and grains of incense and a few other things that are encased in lead and are part of the way that the altar is sanctified. If an altar is movable, however, it should be it is preferred that it is wood because of its weight. But again, it can be stone. I have seen movable stone ones. They're usually on like casters. But if an altar is movable, it is not to have an altar stone. So I think these three triangles in the middle are our key. Does it have to be a martyr? Would a non-martyred saint relic work? No, traditionally, because it goes back to when masses would be celebrated on the tombs of martyrs, way in the early church. That persisted in that. Yeah, it should be a bone of a martyr when it has an altar stone. So I'm looking at these three triangles kind of in the middle of everything. They're right next to each other, each with a number. And I think that symbolizes the three weights we need of the various metals. You know, the question is, what three metals do I need? Because we have four. We have... Oh, you know what? I had a thought. What if, go with me on this journey. That's gold. It's silver coins. Oh. Okay. Stuff was in fact copper. Carbon. Okay. But I figured it out. So we have gold, silver, copper. That makes sense. Copper cookware. Okay. There is no other context to say it was copper, though. But gold, silver, copper, and carbon. Those are our 4 elements that we have to work with here. And I'm seeing some formulas here. Like the very bottom, it's like that much copper equals that much gold. I'm going to write down... So there's some numbers in the box there. Those might be the final formula numbers. Odd that it isn't letting you highlight the text for translation. Yeah, well, I think it would be too complicated in the end. Oh, that's right. We also have to... We need to... I know what else I want to do. So we're going to write all of this down. And we're going to go back, and then we're actually going to try and translate that number, because we have the spot in one of the science rooms that's got like a key code to enter. Speaking of how you're having to write everything down outside the game, when is the Loom stream? Sooner than you might realize. I think it's actually on my schedule before the end of the year for a Retro Tuesday. I love that game. It was challenging for 7-year-old me. That's fair. I mean, there are some very weird puzzles in it. Okay, so this is what I wanted to look for. So we're looking to make that symbol. So 3 and 9 equals 12. Got it. So that is 5, 3... 539. So man, this numbering system is weird. Because what we have right now is 17. And this symbol is showing kind of a combination of a 6 and a 2, but upside down. Nope. What other games will be coming on Thursday in the future? What else is coming on Thursday? I don't remember off the top of my head. Give me one. This is why I have spreadsheets. Well, I want to go back to Spiritfarer at some point. We haven't beaten that, but I want to take that game a couple... Other notable games, Thomas Was Alone is up there, but some more explicitly Christian games are Kings of Israel and Bible Builder. Those are both on the schedule to come up on Thursdays. Ah! Getting confused with my buttons. I want to reset this. Okay, so 9. Scientist language is confusing, but... we're getting close. We just need to figure out... Okay, so that's that symbol. So it'd be 3, 5, 9. Three, 5, 9. Oh, it might help if this had power. That doesn't look like it has power. Okay, I think I'm on the right track there, but I'm not 100% positive. That way just leads to the mines, which leads to the rock crushers. I realized I want to translate these. So 3 there. Nope, that's not where we want that. That's where we want that. So that would be 12. This one. Nope. Okay. 2 goes there. So that would be 5 in total. So that one's 6 and 5, so that's 11. E. Hey, Jacob. So I need to figure out. Oh no. I think I just misread entirely how that numbering machine works. It's not base edition, it's like thousands, hundreds, tens, ones. Okay, we know all that. We know make fire. Seems a poorly designed math machine. It's certainly complicated. Okay, so gold is 1. See, that's what I was forgetting about, was the silver coins there. So copper is 3, carbon is 4. You study book? I do study book. I actually didn't want to go upstairs. I wanted to go downstairs. Never mind. There's the copper. I didn't see that. Me something books of the bards. Don't know if that's meeting. That might be lover. Star-crossed lovers, the bards and the scientists. Okay, I'm convinced that there is a solution here. But what? Right, this is... We've found this code already. So 5... What if it was 5309? Even the walkthrough is confusing. That's okay. I won't ask for a walkthrough just yet. Because I think I have a breakthrough idea on the door code there. Because it's... got a zero decimal or a zero in it, so it's 4 numbers when I was thinking it was 3. So it's either 5309 or 5039. See, that's 9 and 9 will add up to too much. So I wonder if I can do 9 and 9 adding up there and getting, yep, 18. Look at that. So it's 5039. In most games, the code is 0451. Is that in games in general, or in this game are you talking about? Let's go. Figured it out. Look at that. There's the right formula. I think that middle one's kind of like discover. Because I discover the key to alchemy. So all those other formulations, they are false. We can be rid of them, because the true formula is gold. Whatever that is. Silver. And I think that one's carbon, if I remember correctly. It became a running joke in the games industry. Interesting. I will say that that last number symbol, the way I just wrote it, reminded me of writing an Ethiopian number. So gold, silver, and carbon. You know, something not great has happened here. Call me paranoid, but not a great place to be. I see why they locked it up. So if I do this, that, and that. Okay, that does make the same number, so that's 1, 4. Okay. I think I should be able to make that work. Whatever you say, paranoid. I'm a space paranoid. No, don't go back. Wasn't paying attention to where I was. Okay, so first one we need to do is gold. And it needs that one. Uh, 4, 5, and 1. So it needs 10. I think that's 10. This is where the number system gets very confusing. Padre Paranoid has a certain ring to it. It's gonna be my hip-hop name. Let's do a little quick measuring, shall we? So that moves that to about there. 2 of those equals that. So that tracks. So that's 5. So how many of these does this take? Five. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I hit the wrong button. Gonna have to flush that. So if these are both 5s, that equals that. So that's 4. Right? Yeah, it's 4. And so that's 5. Okay. So 1, 9, and 2? Or this is very weird math. I'm thankful that y'all are here for this thrilling stream. So these are all 1s. Okay, I think that adds up the way I want it to. And this last one, I need it to be 4. And what's this? Straight H6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this needs to be carbon. So now we make the key. And if we've made this correctly, it should open the door. Odds are I have not made it correctly. I made it correctly. Nope, never mind. Okay. Okay, so that makes 1 there. So to make 4 there, I need 1, 2, 3. Nope. 4. I need that. This is gold. Okay, this next one is silver. I think I figured it out for real this time. Because using this, so like the silver has 0 in the first in the thousands, 9 in the hundreds, 1 in the tens, and 2 in the ones. So all of these are this adds up to 9, and it's all in that same top right quadrant. So then I need to add up what's in the bottom left quadrant, which is 1, and then 2 in the bottom right quadrant. And now for the carbon. So it's 4 in the tens column. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's 6 in the ones column, so I need a 5 and a 1. Food hall's open. Survey says. What? I swear I did that correctly. Key, gold, silver. One. 4, 0, 5. Right? Because those are both 5s, which would add up to 1 in the other column. And then we've got 4, because it's the C, and then 5 is that. If I don't get this right this time, I am willing to look up a guide because I feel like I've solved this, but it's not playing fair, if that makes sense. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2 in silver. And then carbon is 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 6. So a 5 and a 1. I think I screwed up the gold last time, if I'm honest. What? I swear I'm getting that. Apparently I'm reading this wrong. No, that's exactly what I did. I forgot to switch it from silver? Oh no! Oh no, the hubris. Oh, good. Yep, you're right. That would explain it. That would explain it. So I did get it. I did decode it, basically. I just screwed up the input on my end, and that's totally on me. Also, good to see you, Trekkie for Christ. How you doing? I'll leave one of those in there. You're doing fine. That's good. Are you all rested up post Easter now? Post Pentecost and all that. Today was the last day of school. Aw. Seeing all the little kids off. Celebrate over lunch with the teachers. Nice. How big's your school? How many kids you got? Almost 300. Wow, that is great. What a blessing. Okay, let's see if this one works. Oh! Oh! Let's go! Reach exile. Excuse me? Huh. Well, this is a groovy language. Tower, people. I knew that symbol had to be in there. I was figuring it was that one. But... excuse me? The tower Well, this just took a technological leap and is horrifying. Why is this person not seeing any? Yeah, okay, Is this the Tower of Babel analog? It is. It's drawing heavily upon medieval art. Okay, we are at the top, apparently. Loving all the stained glass in this area. I'm just horrified by the, Oh, so the key... So the word for key, unlock, and door. Really? The people, they reach this high level of ability and are exiles, and this is what they do with their time? Playing video games? But anyway. Oh. Since the name Chants of Sennaar, do we ever find out what kind of chant they use? Like, is it Gregorian chant, Byzantine chant, so on? You know, I think it's up to interpretation. Okay, that's you and you. I think I'm supposed to be lining these up. Because that's go, pass, go, pass. So that would make that one lots more words. But in this case in particular, that would make that death. Or maybe not. Okay, help and up are vaguely synonymous, I feel. Gonna write this one is death for now. And this one is help. Literally the most just like straightforward Rosetta Stone we've seen in this entire game. Also, these staircases look dangerous and just confusing in general. Oh, I need to smelt a key. We're back on that business again. Man. Ascension is dangerous. Yeah. But, you know, you can make it safer with, like, a railing. It's interesting that they have a word for human and people. Yes, I know I can rotate these. I've already seen one. Okay. Hello. Not. There we go. So not. Hello. Greetings. Open. Open? History shows the difference between various humans considered people and not people. Yeah, and it's horrifying. Well, that's weird. Because that's... Not. But then if I want to put... Oh, that's wait. But that's open. And I'm suspicious that there are 3 words for, or 2 words for not. Like, that seems unlikely. Here, open. Just line that open. Oh, hey, we solved it. Oh, good. It auto-fills in the journal for us. I'm so happy about that. What's interesting, though, is it can't actually give us open here because we don't know the scientist word for open. Oh, that's death. Oh, okay. Now it'll give it to us. Okay. So let's go back to that other one. See if we can solve it. Do we get some gratuitous educational content to come up? I didn't see it. Hold on, I'm gonna have to check. I had my messages. I had a good one that I came up with. I thought I could be the Horse King, but I just couldn't rein it in. Okay, so I think that's all lined up. So which of these is not? Go pass. That's what's not lined up. There we go. You go help. Up. Dead. Except that's not death. What? I want to... Let me see this thing again. No, that's so not death, because... in here I have this list as death, and that's just not right. Okay, now it's just going to say, huh? Oh, that's all a loop. You know, I was thinking about this game, and I realized our character has no motivation to do anything. Like, there's no reason to climb this tower. It's driven entirely by the player's just own curiosity, I guess. And I appreciate that. Like, I'm not saying it needs to change that. But it just, I found that fascinating. I was thinking about, like, why are we doing this again? This is just how university professors are. Yeah, we've already talked to you. We might be able to understand you now. Tower, something, go away. Go away. Something, something, you. Gonna guess this might be I. Yeah, these lifeless looking people in these chairs is terrifying. Like, are these machines something? That could be you. Actually, we know you. It's not you. Okay, we have me and me. Hey, K-Max, thank you for the 4-month resub. Huzzah for 4. I'm doing well. You just got back from lunch. Very nice. I hope you had a good lunch. Key. Okay, so make... Problem is I don't know anything else in the route. It's like I know Make's gonna have to go there. Oh, we do have that though. So that helps. Human. So make create. I thought I had another me around here. There it is. Me and me. Okay. So talk. Let's move. Erp. Controlling these circles is a little awkward, I'm not going to lie. It's cheap, so it's acceptable. Well, there you go. When you get to the top of the tower and decipher all the languages, you'll discover that you are an amnesiac Sith Lord who had been using an ancient space station to produce armaments to fight a great danger. Wait a minute. That doesn't sound quite right. I'm a Sith Lord fighting against the Matrix. Okay, so we have key. So I was right, that is me. So we still don't know what those two are. Or any of those. Or have any context for that. Well, I don't have locker door, so... So I need the words. The Tower of Babel is actually a giant cannon built to destroy the moon. The moon is an artifact built by godlike being to stop humanity from being able to communicate with one another. Well, there you go. Your animes are silly. So I feel like once we figure out key and door, we'll be able to open up that other door, obviously, which will give us the code, which I'm guessing will give us the code to open that. I wonder. Okay, I don't have a scientist picture for door. I was wondering if that's what that unknown symbol, this one, might mean. We solved this. Hey, MLT Greg. Good to see ya. Okay, we solved that one. We've solved all of this, right? Oh, no, we haven't. Tower people. Hmm. And that just leads us back here. So I must be missing something. The lack of music up here is also a little ominous. Go away. That could be hate. I could see that being key. Did you know that the World Taekwondo Federation of Franciscan Sister won the World Championship title for women in over 65 in Pumse? Huh. I did not know that. Go her. Because then this person says, I hate the key, I hate the tower. Does that make sense? Oh, it can't be key. We have the word for key. Right? Yeah, we have the word for key. So key. There's only so many combinations. Or I may not have it yet. So that just leads up to that big door. They don't have communication buddy. I feel like I've been everywhere, but I also feel like I'm missing something. We're gonna check out some of these older doors. See if we can't do the translations on them. You help me? You help me? Plants are dying. Putting together, this is based on the Tower of Babel. Yeah, it's kind of like a reverse Tower of Babel story in some ways, where like the tower exists, as do the multiple languages, and you're working your way up the tower while solving the languages. What the end goal is honestly not entirely clear to me yet. I thought I had the word for plant, but yeah, I do. Ah! Dang it. There's no backspace button in some of these translations, but fortunately they hold your place. Plant, plural. Where's death? I thought I had death. I thought I had death. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I do have death. There it is. So plant, plural, death. I don't want plants to die. Me. Not. Wait. I not want plants to die. Second from the top to the right. Yeah, I got there. Slowly but surely. Gosh, I may not have the full vocabulary here to figure this out. Because it's definitely... I don't have desire or want, I guess. Maybe it's that. I desire not. Nope. I don't think I have the... I don't have the word for desire. Where's that word for science that I have? Nope, that's not it. Hey, Timothy, good to see you. Yep, this game is... It's kind of like a reverse Tower of Babel. I also have to laugh because you were the third person to say that today. But yeah, it's very much kind of like... It's based on the classic images of the Tower of Babel from the Renaissance, I'd say. But like the idea is that the tower's already there, the languages are already there, and you're looking to bridge the gaps. We're all just filtering in. Yep. No, I just had to find it funny. Scientists study help monster. Yeah, I'm missing a fair amount of the scientist lexicon, I think. I salute the man. Me. Man. Right? I salute the man. I don't think I have salute. I do remember this one being subject, object, verb, order. Maybe hello? Like salve? Maybe. Brother, I am seeking. Yeah, I don't think we have enough, unfortunately, of any of the higher languages. So I feel like there's something up here that we're missing, like some sort of small piece of information to give me just enough, because we don't even have all the glyphs. Like, we're still missing these 6 glyphs. And that just this just leads back to the scientist area. Now I want to build stairs like that in Minecraft. That just tells me that glyph is exile, which I already know. Go away. I something you probably hate. What are these people playing? Better Than Life? I hate something, I hate the tower. Okay, there's that door. Did I miss anything on that door? Like, is there just like a little symbol or something? No. This is honestly a terrible security system, because, like, everyone here will know this language, theoretically. If it's only to keep other groups out, ooh, good point. Let's see how well it keeps me out, though. Don't have to be right all the time in lockpicking, just the last time. I just realized that's not lock, that's open. So it's key, open, door. That unknown word is door. Which I can't fill in. Okay, which symbol is that tied to? Okay, it's to that one. So this is door. That would make sense, because that was the symbol that one scientist was using when he was talking about opening the door. Hello? Oh. Greetings. You're the one I was waiting for. Okay. Creepy. I feel like you should know that you are part of my charisma in a Hinge conversation. For context, the person I matched with is going to be in New York City next week, and I mentioned that I know someone there. Well, okay. Up. Door. Not. You know, you've rendered Father speechless. You've hit the nail on the head. You know. Those windows from the Cathedral of St. Tetris. I'm really sick of this hymn, you guys. Go up. Go up, bald head, go up. Well, that's cool. That is a cool way of to have a language work. Dead. Not. So each of these is gonna have a go. Die. Stop. Revive. This game is so awesome. Yeah. And the construction of this last language is really interesting. Plural. People. People. not... Hmm. So there's no, like, do everything again. Definitely think that one has plural. Not sure about that one. That one has me, me, people. That one has people. That one has not. See, it's the fact that both of these seem to have... Third is likely not seek. Yeah? Which, bingo bango bongo. It's disregard. So my people. Okay, that makes sense. Come. My people built the tower. Foreign peoples came to the tower. People stopped talking. Peoples feared peoples. Oof. That is the truth. People left in exile. We are dying. The tower is dying. I created you. You are the key. Help us. Well, that would explain why I extracted from a machine like that at the start. Make the peoples talk. Open the doors. End exile. Revive the tower. Oh, hey, we don't have to make the key. I think we're at the end. You were seeking plot. It's true, and it found me. Hey, Junie! Thank you for the doodle raid. Come on in, raiders. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Father Evan. I'm a Catholic priest and streamer here. Look at the intersection of faith and gaming and all the fun, weird ways that that comes about. So right now we're doing Chants of Sennaar, which I think Junie did. Oh, sorry, the bot doesn't like your doodle right message. Hold on. There's a shout out for Junie if you're not following her right now. I recommend it. She's fun. She's the creator of Meep, so little Meep right there for you. Squirrel has redeemed a father joke. I recently bought a car with a broken reverse gear. There's no going back now. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, hello? Don't go upstairs. If you go up, the tower will die. Help us. Make the peoples talk. Oh, I feel like I'm about to make a mistake. Make the mistake. Do it. If I do the mistake, can I restart just before the mistake, or do I have to replay the whole game? Maybe the real mistakes were the friends we made along the way. No, I liked my friends. I did it! Get to the top! Oh, I'm all sad and alone. You veto Y2K? I've heard of Y2K, but I don't know it. Oh, hey, look! So that's a sad ending. Now, here's the thing. I actually do know the real ending of this game. I actually happened to catch it on Junie's channel. But I'm glad to know that there's a super sad ending where it's just like, and then everyone... And then it's all sad. But you may have noticed those lights. Those are the different conversations that you have to translate. And when you get those all translated, there's a different ending. Yes, this is And the World Refused to Change ending. Speaking of which, we will be playing Chrono Trigger on RPG Monday soon, as soon as I'm done with Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, which will happen after I'm done with Star Wars Knight of the Old Republic. But anyway, this game, beautiful, loved it. Just beautiful in every way. But the good ending, if you do translate all of them, I'm not going to do it on stream because I want to honestly move up. I've enjoyed this, but you can check it out for yourself. The happy ending is everyone gathers on top of the tower lives, but then that glyph that was showing up, it rotates in such a way that each of the factions sees their symbol for God, and it kind of then moves out into its own space, and it's like, they've all been talking about God in this different way, but in fact understanding the same God, and seeing God as this understanding of God as a way to begin unity amongst them moving forward. At least that's how I interpreted it when I saw it. So you notice that music is what ultimately joined the bards, warriors, and priests. That is an interesting note. I hadn't caught that. But you're right. Yeah, because that's how you kind of went over everyone in each of those classes. Let's see where I would restart from. Best validated. Okay, so you can restart from the top of the tower, so you can come back and undo all of your mistakes. Again, I'm not going to take the time to finish working out every single glyph. Actually did really terribly at the scientists in the end from a technical angle. But we did get all of the pilgrims and the warriors. Didn't do so hot on the bards. Did even worse on the scientists. And then did just fine on the exiles. But yeah, I think this was a really interesting game. I think it's a really interesting... it's just a fun mechanic of like, hey, what if we made a game about etymology and translation? And they hit it out of the park on that. Like, it's interesting. It's basically a puzzle. It's really well designed. The game is beautiful, visually, aesthetically, musically, love it all. And I do think that the ultimate, and it does kind of have that unfolding story of like looking at the Tower of Babel in reverse, so a Pentecost story. That is the core of the idea of Pentecost, um, and that sense of rerooting ourselves as a community in God as a way to unite us. So I think it has some good stuff and some good content. And I find it a little sad that a lot of that content just kind of appears right at the end. But I get why it might have been a little hard to do. Imagine the game designer just create all the puzzles. It was wild. Yeah, it took some planning. It took some true etymological knowledge too. Like that's just not something you accidentally create. But with that, it is that lined up perfectly with where to call it for the day. This is the end of the stream. So we're gonna have a raid train today. Um, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, join us again for RPG Monday on next week. It'll be Knights of the Old Republic. Um, Tuesday will be more what are we Magic. Yeah, more Magic the Gathering Chandelar edition. That game is wild. Getting to cast Black Lotus feels really good, but then it's really sad because you're like, I summon Grey Ogre. Uh Old school Magic. And then Thursdays, what are we gonna do next? Um I forget what we're going to do next. This is what spreadsheets are for. But we'll do something for the month of June, and it'll be fun. Oh, excuse me. And then in July, we're going to be adding in a Wednesday stream. Going to be doing midweek Minecraft, so that'll be fun. Um, Spreadsheets mentioned be Tony summoned. My spreadsheets are not nearly as intensive as his, but that's not saying much. Um, is there a Sacred Heart of Jesus game? I don't think so, and I think that wouldn't make a good game or a good or really be appropriate. Um, Peach, except he actually hates pie charts. I think that's the funniest part to me. But anyway, thank you so much to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, all that good jazz. Joined the Discord, um, rated. So thank you today, Junie. And let's see who's live that I can send y'all on over to. Wow, none of my friends are live. I don't know what to do. This is a problem I haven't faced in quite some time. All your friends are. I don't think my friends are dead. I just think they're streaming on different times. Because normally, I think Thursdays normally I'd raid over to P Tony or Yuha, but they're doing that later tonight. Um, well, unfortunately, I can't actually check any channels, so we're just not going to raid today. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Happy Corpus Christi. Um, and I'll see y'all again on Monday. Take care and God bless.